Lesson 9F, oogenesis. Oogenesis is a process of ova or egg formation that occurs in the female gonads called the ovaries. When a female is just a fetus, she will develop millions of oogonia, or mother egg cells, via a process called mitosis. Once she is born, she will have approximately 400,000 immature eggs called primary oocytes. Each primary oocyte is enclosed by a layer of cells called granulosa cells, creating a structure called the follicle. Women, unlike men, will not produce more of these through mitosis, and will be limited to the number of follicles that they are born with. In fact, some of the 400,000 follicles will degenerate over time, and by the time puberty arrives, a female will only have approximately 100,000 follicles remaining in both ovaries combined. At puberty, many follicles will go through a 14-day maturation process in the ovaries, but only one will become a secondary oocyte. Up to 1,000 immature follicles will begin the maturation process, which involves dividing through meiosis I. While this happens, only one of the immature follicles survives the entire process, while the others die off. For that one successful follicle, it will have only gone through meiosis stage 1, splitting into two haploid cells. One of these two cells is called the secondary oocyte, and it will receive the majority of the cytoplasm, while the other daughter cell receives very little cytoplasm. The smaller cell is called a polar body and will eventually degenerate and be phagocytized. While this is happening, the cells surrounding the egg also change, forming a structure called a Graafian follicle. At day 14, the Graafian follicle ruptures, affected by a change in the hormone levels, and the secondary oocyte is released into the waiting fallopian tube. This is called ovulation. Once ruptured, the Graafian follicle now is a hollow body, called a corpus luteum. The corpus luteum remains in the ovary for a week and has a very important role in secreting progesterone, preparing the uterus for the possibility of the fertilized egg arriving, known as a zygote. If the secondary oocyte is fortunate to be fertilized by a sperm in a 24-hour window following ovulation, then the secondary oocyte will finish meiosis, stage 2, and again split unevenly, creating a mature ovum and a polar body. The DNA of the sperm will fuse with the DNA of the mature ovum, producing a diploid cell called a zygote, which will divide mitotically into a ball of cells called a blastocyst. If the egg is not fertilized and a blastocyst does not arrive at and implant into the endometrial layer of the uterus, the corpus luteum will degenerate and progesterone levels will drop, resulting in menstruation. This is where the ovum and the uterine lining will detach and flush out of the uterus via the vagina. This occurs approximately every 28 days. As menstruation is occurring in the uterus, thousands of primary oocytes are in different stages of maturation in the ovary, so the cycle can begin again.